is Damien with Following the Flynn-Shaws. Today I'm going to show you around Big Chicken Barn in Ellsworth, Maine. It is 2 floors and over 20,000 square feet of antiques and books. I know the 20 minutes looks daunting, but ultimately my goal is to get someone to watch even just a couple minutes and say, I want to go here. So even if you're here briefly or you watch the whole thing, welcome and thank you all the same. I try to go through as much as I can in this walkthrough and highlight on some things that I saw that I found interesting and some general knowledge of Big Chicken Barn. As you can tell just from walking in, there's stuff everywhere. Shelves are stocked every nook and cranny, including the ceiling is pretty much taken up by antiques. There's something here for everybody, I can guarantee that. Some prices were kind of expensive, but this is stuff that you probably won't find anywhere else, so the price is probably justified and probably worth it at the same time. But there's also a lot of sales that go on in here as well. I try to go into as many rooms as I can to kind of just accentuate how much stuff they have, but it's kind of hard in some sections. I didn't want to get in anybody's way, but I mean, look at stuff like this leg lamp. It's not exactly a Christmas story, but you want it. This room right here had a bunch of woodworking tools in there. I mean, there was bats, gun stocks, all sanders, I think shoemaking supplies. If you're a fan of upcycling or just having some cool antiques, this is definitely the place to go for sure. Oh yeah, look at this Ouija board. I mean, it's only 40 bucks. It might contain a few spirits, but 40 bucks ain't bad for that, right? I thought this projector was actually kind of awesome, only just looking at how old it was and just thinking about my projector at home and how completely different it is. But just like the beginning of this video, this room had a lot of old cameras, had a record player, and I'm pretty positive my grandmother had a radio almost just like this one when I was younger. This room actually had a jackalope mounted on the wall in the back there that I almost bought, and you'll hear me say it a few times, but I might go back for it. Oh, and the infamous Beanie Babies. It's kind of funny seeing these at an antique store when everybody thought they'd be worth like millions of dollars by now. But I did almost buy this ghost, and I did almost buy the McDonald's ones too. I might go back for those though. This place definitely brings in a whole nother level of nostalgia, especially when you're walking around and you're positive that you've seen it in your childhood, either from grandparents or great-grandparents. Not cool to consider them antiques because I guess that means I'm also kind of getting old, huh? I thought this gun rack was actually pretty cool. I've never seen one like it, but it can go from gun rack to hey really quick depending on how you mount it on the wall. I mean, to each their own. I like that there were also a lot of crafty things in here. I almost bought those little duck things too. They were pretty cute. Speaking of crafty things, I'm not sure if this is famous or not because I tried looking up, I didn't really find anything, but it's a signed piece and it is very nice. There were too many rooms that had vices of mine in them, but I definitely almost bought these Christmas houses too because I love Christmas villages, and they were like $20 to $35 a piece. I don't know how rare they are. They were at Coca-Cola, but again, something else that I didn't need to buy that I almost did. As I'm sure you could tell, this is why I decided not to go into each and every single room because there's just so much stuff. I mean, this is my second walkthrough. The first one I didn't record at all, and I guarantee I didn't see every single thing. But it's still pretty cool to encapsulate all of this stuff into a video, except for this thing. Nope, I'm all set. Crazy to think that where I'm entering into right now is actually right about where the entrance that I came in was, so we haven't even seen like a whole half of the building. But this room here is all books written by Maine authors. There's a lot more books in here than I expected, to be honest with you. But these rooms hold a lot of signed copies, limited edition things, stuff that you probably can't find on the internet. And of course, you can't have a room with authors from Maine without a section for Stephen King himself. Riddled through all these cabinets were also small little trinkets, knick-knack things, more limited edition signed copies of books, very rare. Even if they look worn and torn, they're probably very rare. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, definitely come down and take a look. They also had like a lot of coins in some of these cabinets. I don't know much about them and if they're worth anything, but I know there are a lot of coin collectors out there, so definitely worth a stop. I'm definitely a knick-knack person. I definitely had some of these little animal ones. I don't know what ever happened to those, but again, a bit of nostalgia. Almost bought them. I refrained, but I could go back. I really enjoyed looking at these postcards, especially finding streets that I've walked my entire life and noticing all the differences from back then. Even now, Main Street in Waterville is ever changing, but it's still interesting to look at. I thought this room was pretty cool. Lots of like model planes or cars and stuff like that. Old toys, a lot of old cards. Now, I know nothing about playing cards, baseball cards, any old cards that might be worth some money. But if you're a collector, you might find a payday. You never know. You're just gonna have to come find out for yourself. There were a lot of cards. As you can tell, you don't need to be an antiquer or need a love for knickknacks. They've got clothes and fabric and furniture. There's just something here for everybody. I'll keep saying that because it's true. There's gonna be something here that everybody that somebody's gonna like. Okay, well, I don't know about this thing. That thing might be haunted too. I'm not quite sure, but you know. Somebody would take that. I like the Annabelle doll out there, so who knows? This room had a few old weapons in there. One of them is this leister, which was used for spearfishing. It is Native American. It's most likely Penobscot, which I thought was wicked awesome. Interesting that it's in an antique store and not like in a main museum. I mean, the price tag was hefty, but for the history, I think that's pretty awesome. Again, more baseball cards. These ones look actually nicer. I'm sure people did go through their collections to make sure there weren't any, good cards in there, but you never know. Ton of old records in here, like Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I mean, there were records all over the place, but they had some really good ones in there. Wouldn't you believe it, we are like 17 minutes in and we're just now going upstairs. Over 200,000 books and magazines. You'll see why I think this, but there's probably more than that. I feel like they probably had to stop counting at some point. This part is sped up quite a bit only because every nook and cranny is pretty similar as far as it's just shelves packed with books. They do actually have a little map that shows you essentially what section is what, but they also have them labeled up on the ceilings, westerns, horror books, you name it. You could sit up here all day long, not even worry about what's going on downstairs, and you probably still wouldn't see every single title they had. The Big Chicken Barn was just that back in the 1950s. It used to house over 20,000 hens, but the store actually opened in 1986. What was supposed to be a part-time endeavor actually turned into what you see today, and it seems to be handing over to the next generations of the family. So they're doing great, and they handle a lot of very rare out-of-print books. So naturally, this becomes one of the first stops for some people looking for something out of print or very rare like that. I really liked these vintage advertisements, especially like this Coca-Cola one, where you look at the people and you know that they're most likely no longer around, but they're immortalized like that. There were so many of them, I didn't get to look through all of them, but it was still pretty cool. Of course, this place has tons of antiques, but they do have stuff from this generation as well. For example, they had this newspaper clipping from a few days after 9/11 back in 2001. It's crazy to think that was over 20 years ago and that it's something in the antique store. But there's also magazines such as Better Home and Gardens, which was from all the way from 1929 till probably now, to be honest with you. Of course, the Better Home and Garden magazines aren't the only ones that they house here that are from way back when. The Post, this one's actually from 1902, so even older than Better Home and Gardens. Creeping up around the corner here too, they also had a ton of Life and Time magazines. Now, I know they've been around for forever, but the amount of editions that they had was crazy. I didn't realize they had that many. So I had seen pictures of the big chicken barn, and I've lived in Maine almost my entire life, and this was the first time I'd actually gone to see it for myself, and I'm glad I did. Even if you don't think you'd buy anything, I think it's still a cool stop to make if you're in the Ellsworth area. It's kind of like going to a museum, which is kind of funny for some things, because some things are newer than others, but still pretty cool spot to see. Lots of things that you can take a look at, better than actually watching this video. So but either way, thank you so much for watching our video today. I really appreciate the view and the like and the subscribes. We're gonna go to more places, so stay tuned and go check out the Big Chicken Barn in Ellsworth, Maine. Thanks so much, guys.